The Intel management engine is still running right now and the FTC can't stop it. Right now, inside your processor, a second computer is awake. It started before your operating system loaded. It will keep running after you shut down. The Electronic Frontier Foundation formally demanded Intel open its source code in 2017. Intel declined, and it's still running. Intel calls it a feature. The management engine, ME, officially, is a dedicated microcontroller baked into every Intel chipset manufactured since 2008. Intel's pitch: it enables remote IT management. Corporate administrators can reboot machines, push patches, wipe drives, all without touching the hardware. That's the story they publish. The ME runs a real-time operating system. MINIX, actually, the same academic OS that inspired Linux, now quietly embedded in over 1 billion machines. It has its own CPU, its own RAM, its own network stack. It operates at what security researchers call ring-3 below the kernel, below the hypervisor, below everything you believe controls your machine. Your operating system doesn't know it's there. Your antivirus can't reach it. Your firewall sees nothing it does. Here's what Intel doesn't put in the press release. The ME doesn't sit idle waiting for a corporate IT command. It maintains its own persistent network interface. In configurations using Intel's vPro platform and active management technology, AMT, that interface has its own IP address, separate from your machine's IP. It can receive and respond to network traffic while your computer is powered off, as long as it holds standby power. Security researcher Dmitry Sklyarov documented the telemetry handshake behavior as far back as 2012. The firmware is cryptographically signed by Intel alone. That means only Intel can update it. You cannot inspect it. You cannot audit it. Independent researchers at Positive Technologies found that the ME firmware contains undocumented commands, commands absent from any public specification, persistent identifiers that survive factory resets, data logged in modules your operating system cannot read and has no mechanism to query, and it's still running. In 2017, the Electronic Frontier Foundation published an open letter. They called the management engine a security hazard. They named it directly, a remote exploitation vector with no civilian oversight. They demanded Intel release source code for independent audit. Intel's response was a white paper. It explained, in careful legal language, why the ME was necessary for platform security. The FTC had jurisdiction to investigate. They opened preliminary inquiries. Nothing resulted in enforcement. The reason isn't corruption, it's jurisdiction. The FTC governs deceptive trade practices. Intel never claimed the ME was auditable. They made no promise the regulator could hold them to. You cannot sue over a feature they never advertised as transparent, and it's still running. Now here's the part that never made the headlines. The mechanism that makes this unstoppable isn't technical, it's legal. The ME firmware is protected as a proprietary security module under the DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Any researcher who reverse engineers it to document what it does is potentially violating federal copyright law, even with purely defensive intent. Positive Technologies found a method to partially disable the ME in 2017. Intel's response was to patch the vulnerability they used to do it. Someone found a way to reduce the attack surface of a component inside your processor, and Intel closed that door. Then the HAP bit surfaced, a single flag in ME firmware that, when set, partially shuts the ME down, confirmed by leaked internal documents and independently verified by Positive Technologies researchers. The flag exists because the NSA requested it. Through Intel's High Assurance Platform Government Program, the agency obtained a mechanism to modify the behavior of a coprocessor running beneath your operating system on every Intel machine sold to sensitive government clients. The NSA has access to that flag. You don't. Intel sells chips to foreign governments, to hospitals, to election infrastructure. Every one of those machines carries this component running below the OS, executing firmware that cannot be independently verified, signed and controlled by a single private company that answers to no regulator holding real enforcement power. And it's still running. Your machine right now, if it's Intel Silicon from the last 15 years, has this inside it. Not hypothetically, provably. The ME has a documented kill switch the NSA can invoke and you cannot. What that means in practice, there is a layer of your own hardware operating outside your control, outside your operating system's visibility, outside any consumer protection law's practical reach. Researcher Igor Skachinsky mapped portions of the ME's undocumented code in 2014. He found modules labeled PAVP, Protected Audio-Video Path, modules for identity verification, modules listed only as reserved functionality. Every firmware update you have ever installed left the ME untouched. It ran the same signed, unauditable code beneath every keystroke, every login, every private message you typed since you unboxed that machine. So here is the question nobody has answered. If the management engine were purely a remote enterprise management tool, why does the NSA hold a private kill switch flag that no consumer can access? Who requested that capability first? What is the ME doing on the machines where that flag is never set? Intel won't say. The FTC won't compel them to. The DMCA makes sure no outside researcher can prove the answer. You are running it right now, and you will never be allowed to know what it's doing.